Hi dear students, in the previous session we discussed about the gymnosperm, male and female cone. In today's session we are going to discuss about the angiosperm in detail along with their life cycle. Angiosperm features. General properties of angiosperms. So here, as it comes to angiosperm word, we are very well known about the flowering plants. So we are very familiar with the all flowering plants that we are seeing is surrounding to us, right? They are always flower and fruit producing. They are always fruit and flower producing group of plants. Next property, as because of the production of fruits and flowers, their seeds are completely embedded or coated within that, right? So that's why due to the presence of fruit, they are jacketed, they possess jacketed seeds. And we will discuss about the jacketing condition in the next coming few minutes. The next property, due to the presence of their wide variety of habitat, you can able to find out angiosperm in many various wide variety of habitat. It may be of aquatic, and in aquatic, if the plants are growing in aquatic condition, and those are said to be hydrophytic plants. And the example here is Vallisneria, or maybe zoster, or maybe you can take lotus. You can take many of the example. Water hyacinth. These are the best examples which are growing in the aquatic habitat. And you are very clear about this because algae are growing within the water habitat. But I am telling about the flowering plants which are growing inside the water. So that is about Vallisneria, zoster, lotus, and also water hyacinth. And the plants which are growing inside the water habitat, then they are said to be hydrophytic plants. And the same if they are growing in the terrestrial habitat, it may be of different type and depending upon the condition, environmental condition. And they are supported with a normal or moderate water availability and also the temperature. Temperature is about 30 to 35 degrees Celsius and water availability is maximum. That means whatever the amount of requirement for the plant body for its growth and development, that is sufficient. And those type of plants which are growing in that region are called as mesophytic plants. Example, you can take coconut, areca nut, mango, like this. You can give examples. Coconut, areca nut, many examples you can give. And if the same condition where the water availability and the temperature is maximum, water availability is minimum and temperature is maximum, humidity is more. So that's why in that condition, if the plants are growing, then those are called as xerophytic plants, which are growing in desert habitat. So desert habitat alli ಬೆಳೆಯುವಂತವು. And the best example for these are cactus, ಪಾಪಸ್ಕಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀರಲ್ಲ ಅದು, ಓಕೆನಾ. Some of the palm plants. palm plants, right? Some grasses are also growing in that habitat. So you can take the cactus as the best example. And when we come to the size and shape of the body, angiospermic plants, it may vary with the shape and size also, and as minimum as 1 millimeter and as maximum as 100 meters long and 1 to 2 kilometers wide or width. Width of the plant body is maximum up to 1 to 2 kilometers, and you can give an example banyan tree. ದೊಡ್ಡ ಆಲದ ಮರ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರ. As its main axis and the tree trunk is present at one region, and it is extending its branches and the prop roots up to 1 or 2 kilometers. In this way it is extending. So that's why the width of the plant body is maximum up to 1 to 2 kilometers when it comes to banyan tree. But when you say the length of the plant body, it may reach us up to 100 meters also. Example is eucalyptus, and I spoke about the very minimum size. That is Wolffia microscopia is one of the angiospermic plant, a flowering plant which is present in water habitat, and it is flowering one. So that's why a smallest angiosperm is Wolffia microscopia, and the largest angiosperm is eucalyptus, and the widest angiosperm is banyan tree, right? Size and shape of the plant body. Size and shape. Here as much as minimum 1 millimeter, that is, this is a one mark question. Wolffia microscopia, smallest angiosperm, and the longest angiosperm 100 meters long, that is example eucalyptus. And the widest one which extends up to 1 to 2 kilometers, that is banyan tree, right? So these are the examples with the various sizes and shapes. When we come across with the morphological structure, it possesses well differentiated true roots, stem and leaves. We will speak in detail regarding root, stem and leaves in the upcoming chapters. Morphology of flowering plants ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಒಂದು ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಇದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ರೂಟ್, ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಮಾಡಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಬಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ angiospermic. See, when we take that root system, there will be of 3 different types. One is taproot system, fibrous root system and the adventitious root system. I am writing the taproot system, and this is a surface area of the soil. Underground, beneath the soil, there will be a presence of underground part of the plant body, that is root, which is wider at the base and it is becoming tapering structure at the end, or which is growing towards the earth, right? And it also possesses, so this is a taproot structure, taproot, and where you can observe many of the roots which are giving rise by the taproot system, and these are primary roots and later secondary root and tertiary roots. The root hairs are also present, which helps in absorption of water and mineral ions. And then after, above the surface of soil, the aerial portion will be there, and it is called as shoot system. And this shoot system again divided into many structure which give rise to a modified stem called as flowers at the growing tip. And many of the branches which are arised from the nodes and internodes. So these are the nodes and internodes which are present, and it possesses leaves, a photosynthetic part called as leaves, and these are called as branches. You can find the shoot system here. Shoot system, then later leaves, branches, nodes and internodes, later flower, the flower which give rise to fruit also. So this is a normal morphological structure of a flowering plant, and we will take up the reproductive structure. This is a modified stem portion called as flower, which bears microsporophylls and the megasporophylls, which helps in reproduction as it bears male and female reproductive units. We will speak about the life cycle of angiosperm within 5 or 10 minutes. The next 5-10 minutes we will find out the other characteristic features. So that is the classes of angiosperms. The classes of angiosperm. Here when you consider the classes of angiosperm, there are two based on number of cotyledons. Number of cotyledons. Based on number of cotyledons, angiosperms are divided into two different classes. The one is monocotyledons, and the other example is second one, dicotyledons. Monocotyledons and dicotyledons. When you observe the structure of a number of cotyledons, as the name referring that mono means single cotyledon will be there. But here it is two cotyledons. Two cotyledons will be there. I am writing only number, you have to complete the cotyledons also. And the next, the structure of a root in case of monocot is fibrous root system. It possesses fibrous root system. And next in dicotyledons, it possesses taproot system. And left one more type of root system is there, that is adventitious root system. And that adventitious root system is only for supporting, where it may be present both in case of monocotyledons and dicotyledons also. And the next part here, it possesses sheathing leaf base. Sheathing leaf base as its main property. I will tell you about the sheathing leaf base. And here the sheathing leaf base is absent. Sheathing leaf base is absent. How you can able to identify the sheathing leaf base? Say for example, this is a maize plant. With these are the nodes and internodes. You can find the nodes and internodes over here. And when you are going to take up the one leaf from this, and this is a type of a leaf which is present with the tapering edges and also the veins here, right? When you are going to remove this or plucking off this leaf, you are going to take up the portion of stem connected region. So ನೀವು ಜೋಳದ ಗಿಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಎಲೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಎಲೆ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪರೆಂಟ್ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಕೂಡ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಓಕೆನಾ? ಸೊ ಆ ಥರ ನೀವೇನಾದ್ರು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಶೀತಿಂಗ್ ಲೀಫ್ ಬೇಸ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಲೀಫ್ ಬೇಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಡ್ ಟು ದ ಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ರಿಮೂವ್ ದ ಲೀಫ್, it is also coming up with the leaf again, right? So that type of leaves are called as sheathing leaf bases. But in case of dicotyledons, as it possesses petiole, peduncle, stalk of the leaf, right? So stalk of the leaf, it is just coming out as a portion or the stalk, right? So in that case, sheathing leaf base is absent. When you come to the structure of a leaf, Here it possesses parallel venation. It possesses parallel venation leaves. Parallel venation in leaves. That means as the leaf is like this, it consists of parallel venations, straight venations, and there is an absence of network like structure, and this is considered as a parallel venation. And when you come to the dicotyledons, these possess reticulate venation, reticulate venation, as you have observed in hibiscus plant. So this is the stalk of the leaf and it is emerging like this with the leaf lamina, and this is a midrib or axis where with this veins and veinlets are growing. So these are the veins and the veinlets. Like this, veinlets will be there, and this type of structure is called as a reticulate venation. So regarding parallel venation and reticulate venation, when you come to the last part, you can able to analyze the anatomical structure, internal structure. See, you are going to take out the transverse section of a stem or maybe the root also. In case of those things, you can able to analyze the presence of xylem and phloem, as these are completely vascular tissue containing organisms. They possess a true vascular bundles with all the four components, right? So all those four components are present and they form a complete structure called as vascular bundles, in which those vascular bundles are arranged in an alternate manner or maybe a random manner. Say, if you are going to take this as a transverse section of a plant body, stem or root, you can take any one thing, and you are going to conduct the same experiment in your first PUC, and this will be the major experiment, right? So this is a transverse section of a stem, monocot stem, and this is a dicot stem. I am just explaining the stem, the same thing will be there for root also with slight changes. Here the vascular bundles are arranged xylem, phloem, then again xylem, phloem. So that means these vascular bundles are arranged randomly. Right? This is one thing. And that type of stellar region, the internal region of a stem, is called as a stele anteli karitivi, and it will be of atactostele condition. Atactostele. When you come to the college, lab conducted, then you are going to understand what is atactostele. Just keep it in mind, this word atactostele. And when you see the transverse section of a dicotyledon plant with the stem, you can able to analyze the presence of xylem, next phloem, again xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem. Alternatively, there will be a presence of xylem and phloem vascular bundles, right? So this type of condition, which is in alternate form, that is arranged alternately, and they are called as, that stellar condition is called as U-stele. U means true stele will be there. U ಅನ್ನೋ ವರ್ಡ್ ಟ್ರೂ ಅನ್ನೋ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ನ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ ಬಯಾಲಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ U-stele refers to the presence of true stele. Here it is atactostele. When you conduct the experiment of transverse section of a stem and root, you can able to analyze the structure in detail. So till that, just keep it in mind, atactostele and U-stele. And these are the vascular bundles arranged alternately, and here it is a random arrangement of vascular bundles. This is an anatomical structure. So then again, the one more additional anatomical structure. In case of monocotyledons, in the outermost region, the root hairs are absent. root hairs are absent. But in case of dicotyledons, at its epidermal layer, outermost layer, there will be a presence of hair-like structures both in case of root and the stem, and that type of structures are called as trichome. Trichome. The root hairs are the stem hairs, hair-like structures which are growing on the epidermal layer is called as trichome, which is present as a unique property of dicotyledons, but it is absent in case of monocotyledons. When we are going to ask the difference between monocotyledons and dicotyledons, you should be very careful while writing the differences, right? And always you have to write the valid reasons, not like a monocotyledon single seed, dicotyledon double seed, like that, right? Keep it in mind. You are going to mention any of the few valid properties regarding general properties of angiosperm. We have completed the general properties of angiosperm here. In the next session, we are going to take up the life cycle of angiosperm. Along with that, other different type of life cycles are also there, as we have came with the haplointic life cycle, diplointic life cycle, haplodiplointic life cycle, and those things will be discussed in the next session. Thank you, dear students.